What is going on, my friends? It's great to see you. My name is Ryan Williams, and we are now in July, which means it's time for another dividend portfolio update. In this video, we'll be running through my dividend stock portfolio, where I'll show you guys everything, like how my stock portfolio performed this last month, which stocks I bought, which ones I'm selling, which ones I might be planning to buy in the future, as well as some other things I have planned for this portfolio coming up, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, before we get rocking and rolling, if you guys are excited to talk about some dividend stocks today, please go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. And now, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, now we are here inside my dividend portfolio tracker. This is my entire portfolio right here. And the first thing I want to show you guys is this down here. So my current total gain is about 8.32%, which is not too bad, but compared to last month, I actually lost a substantial amount of money. So just in the last month, my unrealized gain dropped from about 10.7%, which you can see on the screen right now. This is a clip from last month, to where it's at now, which is 8.32%. So I lost about 2.4% in unrealized gain, which if we're talking dollars was about $500. Now there's some pros and cons to this. I mean, sucks to lose $500, but at the same time, it does make all the stocks in my portfolio a little bit cheaper. So, I'm happy for that reason because it makes them easier to buy. And as far as my purchases go this month, guys, the first half of the month I spent continuing buying AWR. I now have 10.026 shares in my portfolio, but I wanted to build this position up to get my utilities sector allocation to where I wanted it to be, which was about 7.5%. And it took me about half of the month of June to finish accomplishing that. And then I switched gears and started buying AbbVie, which if you guys have seen some of my recent videos, you'll already know that I have this stock in my portfolio. And as you guys can see on the screen, I first started buying into AbbVie about halfway through the month. My first purchase for $125 just got me over one share. And since that first purchase, I bought about two more shares of AbbVie for the current holding that I have now, which is about 3.3 shares. And just scrolling over here real quick so you guys can see, my current annual dividend income is about $1,111. So we're now over that $1,100 mark, on our way to $1,200, which you know what that means. If we hit $1,200 of annual dividend income, that means that on average, my portfolio is paying me $100 every single month, which officially puts me in like the 3 figures a month mark. And before we move on to diversification, my dividend yield is still relatively high, about 4.5%, with a yield on cost approaching 5%. All right, guys, now that's just a summary of what's been going on in my portfolio. Now I want to jump over to this watch list page, which I know is something that I never talk about. But in the month of June, I added 2 more stocks to my watch list, so I wanted to just briefly talk to you about which those are. So prior to these additions, the only stocks on my watch list were Lowe's, Microsoft, and this one right here, Clearway Energy Inc. But in the month of June, I added 2 more stocks to my watch list. I'm now looking at Intel, which is a company in the technology sector. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. And then Vici Properties, which is a REIT, and I'll touch more on that in a minute. So you guys might be wondering why these 2 companies. So the first one, Intel, it's one that's been on my radar for some time, but the reason I added it to my watch list was because of a conversation I had in the comments of one of my videos. I'm going to read that right now. This comment was from my friend Joel Batista, who Joel always goes and shows some love on my videos, and we always have good conversations in the comments. So in regards to Intel, Joel says, take a look at INTC. They are a true free cash flow machine with a rock solid balance sheet and revenue growth, despite what one might tend to think based on the AMD and NVIDIA hype. Those are great companies, but INTC is a bargain at the moment. They had a bit of a snag with their 7nm chips and the crushing competition from AMD's Ryzen, but despite that, their revenue and cash flow dwarfs AMD. And if that AMD comeback shows anything, it is that this industry is competitive, and the next comeback can likely be Intel. They have the money, the infrastructure, and the size to punch back, and they will, in my opinion. And they are increasing their production in the US, which in the future might regain some clients like Apple, who now gets their chips from TSMC. I love everything about their financials, and to top it off, they have a 2.5-ish dividend yield. Investors are underestimating Intel, in my opinion. Great comment from Joel, but it got me thinking maybe there is something to Intel, and I haven't done much research into this company quite yet. I'm just kind of have it on here so I don't forget about it for now. Next Next up is Vici Properties, guys. Now, I just recently heard about this company from watching a Joseph Carlson video, which if you don't know Joseph Carlson, he's a great investor and he's got a great channel here on YouTube. I'm going to put the link to the video that I'm talking about in the description of this video. But just to explain what it is, essentially Vici Properties, VICI, is a REIT and they own a ton of hotel hospitality properties across the world, one of the most notable ones being Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. And a lot of you guys probably don't know this about me, but I love the Vegas. Absolutely love Las Vegas. It's definitely, for some reason, one of my favorite places to go. And I'm not joking, like I had watched Joseph's video on this stock like 3 days after I had just gotten back from Las Vegas. I had stayed next door to Caesars. I was walking through it my whole trip. And if there's any sort of opportunity to invest in something that has to do with Vegas, I'm gonna at least look into it. Now, I don't personally need another REIT in my portfolio right now, but if the time comes that I feel like I wanna pick one up, I might consider this one. But like with Intel, I need to do a little bit more research into this stock. All right, guys, now switching gears real quick. Sorry, I realized my screen wasn't maximized, so I just fixed that. This is what my portfolio currently looks like as far as diversification goes, and if we scroll down and compare my actual allocations versus target allocations, we'll see that I'm almost at that healthcare goal. I had just hit utilities, which is what I was talking about with AWR earlier, but since I started buying into AbbVie, it dropped down a little bit. But I've been buying into AbbVie, which is bringing my actual healthcare allocation closer to my target allocation of 10%, and I should be there very quickly. And at this point, guys, I want to let you in on a little surprise that has to do with the future plans of this portfolio. So I just hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel and I wanted to do something special to celebrate it. So for my next video, I'm going to be investing $1,000 into my dividend portfolio live on camera. You guys are going to watch me do it live action. And that is going to greatly change what this portfolio looks like. I think I'm going to be able to do a lot and make some good changes to this portfolio. And with that said, I don't want to talk too much about other future plans. Essentially, all I have for you is stay tuned for the next video because that is going to change a lot. I think it's going to be really fun. I will tell you one thing though, I'm definitely going to buy some AbbVie and get this healthcare sector where I want it to be. But other than that, guys, you're just going to have to tune in and find out. All right, guys, now moving on, I want to switch gears and jump over to Seeking Alpha and just go over a little bit more of the performance of the stocks in my portfolio this last month. And I have it organized from best performing to worst performing in the last month. So the best performing stocks in the last month for me were AbbVie, which gained about 1.8%, Procter & Gamble, which was also about 1.8%, and then it kind of goes down from there. But as you guys can see, if we scroll down, there's a lot of red, okay? A lot of stocks in the red in the last month. And this is pretty much how I lost $500 of unrealized gain in the last month, as I mentioned earlier in this video. And just scrolling down to the bottom here, guys, the worst performing stocks for me this month were Campbell Soup, CPB, lost like 6.5%, which prior to that, this stock was already at a discount. It's really getting to the bottom of its 52-week range here. Going back to future plans, I don't want to say too much, but I might have to start buying into some CPB since it's at such a discount, guys. I'm very long CPB. I think I've been getting a little bit of heat in the comments for them. Not heat, but there's been a little something there. I think a lot of people are bearish on Campbell Soup, but and they may be right. We'll have to see what happens. But anyway, some other not so great performers for me were Realty Income down 3.3% and Altria Group down 3.1% in the last month, as well as WP Carey and Southern Company, which were also down over 3%. So guys, we'll see how this month goes. Hopefully we can replenish some of that lost unrealized gain and get back up in the 2000s. It was kind of cool being up over 10%. All right, guys, now that pretty much wraps it up for today's video. Thank you guys so much for giving this one a watch. And if you are still with me at the end of this video, you're a rock star. But also, if you haven't done so already, please leave a like before you click on to the next video. I'm sure you guys have heard this from other creators on YouTube, but the more likes that are left on this video, the more engagement that comes on this video, the more that it gets pushed out to other people here on YouTube. And I'm trying to spread this channel far and wide, trying to reach as many dividend investors as I can. So please help me out a little bit. Just go and hit that thumbs up for me. Also, guys, leave me a comment below. Let me know about some of your dividend portfolios. I'd love to hear about what you've got going on over there. It's always fun hearing about how other people build and craft their portfolios, and I'd be curious to know how yours have been performing. Is it just me who's down, or is it kind of all across the market? What's been going on for you guys? Leave me a comment below. All right, guys, and with that said, I will now get out of your hair, but thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you in the next one.